begin. The Cactus League schedule is about to start in about 2 hours or so. Rangers, Royals, Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. We're going to talk about everything that's happening in Rangers camp next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, there you see it. Nathan Eovaldi starting the Cactus League lid lifter for the Rangers. Doesn't mean he's going to be the opening day starter. A lot could happen. He's going to pitch in that first series, but not at all surprised to see that Nathan Eovaldi is wanted the ball here on game one of 31 Cactus League games or exhibition games. I think that includes the game against Brazil on March 4th, and then the two games before the regular season at Globe Life Field. Benny, you're right. It is great to have games being played. I think everybody was ready for it. It gotten kind of mundane here the last 9 days, pitchers and catchers, and then bringing in the position players. They don't need a lot of time to get ramped up. So anyway, Jeff Wilson here. Elijah, the prophet, is working controls back there in our studios in Dallas. And yeah, today also marks the end of my first trip. I always want to get that first game in, much to my wife's chagrin, but I'm expecting that I will have a big honey-do list when I get home, and that's fine. We also have some youth basketball this weekend. So anyway, a lot to look forward to during my week back home. Lot to keep track of here, and a lot to get caught up on since we haven't had our show since Wednesday when Skip Schumacher was so kind and generous to join us. Camp roundup, honestly, look, there's not a lot of news going on, and that is like fantastic. Last year, the last few years, early on, you'd seen injuries to players. Josh Young got hurt his calf 2 years ago on the very first day he was here. I think Wyatt Langford had an oblique strain by this time last year. So everybody's healthy except for Sebastian Walcott. We still haven't heard when he's having his surgery. He hasn't been in camp all week. Not sure what the holdup is or if there's been a holdup, and the messaging just hasn't gotten to us. But for whatever reason, we don't have that update. And then the only two pitchers who are limited are Teodo and Church, and we've talked about them. Mark Church said his first live BP will be March 2nd, which is the first day I'm back in town. John Moore from the weekly show is coming with us. A lot of talk here with the manager. We talked to him before every workout, and we will talk to him after the game today. But really, and we talked about it with him Wednesday, the base running still a focus. And as he said on the show, he wants to be aggressive this year, but he doesn't want guys afraid to make outs. He wants them to be confident in what they're doing. Travis Jankowski, intelligently aggressive seems to be his buzzword. And the Rangers really want to do that. They were excellent last year in going from second to home, top 5 in the league. So that's, when you're talking about base running, it's not just stolen bases. But Jankowski, he's now Coach Travis Jankowski. He's here to help in the base running department. That was his calling card, his bread and butter. The expectation is that he's going to help Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter, and they both talked about it the last couple of days. They're looking forward to it. But Travis has even helped Jake Berger. He helped Jake Berger with his running form in the offseason. So it's not just the fast guys; it's everybody on the team taking the extra 90 feet when you can, grabbing bags when you can, and going first or third when you can. All these things that Skip Schumacher believes leads to more runs, and Lord knows the Rangers need more runs. But there's also been some talk about pitchers limiting the run game. You want to steal them and you don't want to give them up because it can lead to runs for the other team too. And the Rangers weren't great last year at on stolen bases. Kumar Rocker, a lot was made about his inability to control the running game, but he only made 14 starts. So, all these things just happen on his watch. They happen on a lot of guys' watch. Catchers need help. All right. They need all the help they can get from the pitchers. So it's, whether it's slide stepping or changing the timing in which they hold the ball or anything like that, anything that can keep a runner at first base off balance or just out of sync, and that's really where the catcher's involved. It's a pitcher catcher combination when they're trying to steal a partnership, when runners are trying to steal second base, third base. If a guy gets third, that's on the pitcher. And Skip Schumacher made that pretty clear yesterday when we were talking to him. As far as Rangers catchers, last season, um, caught only 26 of 153 attempts. Okay, that was 26th in baseball, kind of right there with the offense. There were 127 steals against, which was the ninth most in baseball. Kyle Higashioka was the best of the two catchers. He threw out 15 of the 66 who tried to go against him, but that was only 24th in the majors. Jonah Heim only caught 11 guys, 11 for 59. He was 41st in guys he caught. But Danny Jansen, the newcomer, 20 of 63. That was 14th. Now, how does that rate to like the guy who won the Gold Glove, Dylan Dingler of the Tigers? He was 26 of 56. So, if you have a strong arm and you're throwing guys out, people aren't going to steal against you. But, those Tigers probably did a pretty good job, pitchers on the pitching side of keeping these guys out. So, anyway, that's kind of about all we've conjured up. There was some bench talk today and yesterday, and this gets into the minutia of beat writers at spring training. We're trying to figure out who the 26 are, who's going to end up where, and it's a pretty tight race when you look at it. I think the right-handed hitters obviously have an advantage. So maybe advantage to Michael Hellman and to Cody Freeman, Ezekiel Duran. Boy, it sure feels like he's going to make the team because he can play shortstop. And if Josh Smith is the second baseman, they're going to need a guy who can play shortstop, maybe once a week, depending on how they plan to utilize Corey Seager. If they have a plan to make sure he avoids the injured list, maybe a day a week off his feet is the way it goes. Maybe it's a day a series. I don't know. That's just pure speculation. But Duran can play shortstop. And they haven't really talked, I guess, yet to Josh Smith about if he would like to slide over to shortstop. I know it was a big deal for um, Marcus Simeon to not slide over to shortstop when something was wrong with Corey, and he had to stay at second base. And I think if the Rangers are committed to making Josh Smith their second baseman, he needs to play second base as much as possible. Couple of questions I see popped up real quick. Who's pitching after Evo? Robert Garcia, Cole Winn, Trey Supak, Gavin Collier, and Peyton Gray are the guys. And then there'll be some guys from minor league camp. Dane Acker's on the list, for instance, today, in case something doesn't go right or if a guy can't finish an inning, um, they'll bring in a just in case player, something we'll talk about here in a little bit. Will the Rangers broadcast today's game on the radio? They are not. The radio booth is next to me. It is unoccupied. Zach Bigley, who does the games for Frisco, he's in town, and they are doing the game Saturday and Sunday. Matt Hicks will be in town. Um, don't ask me. It's concerning to me that games aren't at least being webcast. I know Jared's had a beautiful baby girl born, but it seems like they could have asked Zach Bigley to come out here for a couple weeks, and Zach would have done it. I don't know why Zach wouldn't have. So anyway, something they need to work on next year for sure. They need to get back to where everything is back to where fans have access to every game. My opinion, and I'm sure that's opinion shared by you guys and others who aren't in the chat. Shame on them for not being in the chat. Where are we? Oh yeah. So back to this bench talk. And this is one of the things we'll get into a little bit more when we kind of break down what to look for in games. Um, the right-handed hitters have an advantage. I don't know if there would be a left-handed hitter on the bench. Antonio Alejandro Osuna was talked about today a lot. a left-handed hitter, a really good base runner, excellent defensive player. Is there a spot for him on the team? And there might be. There's a role for a guy who is a defensive whiz and can run the bases. You need guys like that late in innings, especially in September, especially in the postseason. But I think the Rangers feel pretty good about their defensive outfield. I think they like Evan Carter in center, and when he's in center, they like uh, Wyatt Langford, who's a dadgum Gold Glove finalist in left field, and Nimmo is capable. They aren't buying into the Mets fans talk about him not being a good defensive player, but he will be in right field, so it'll be a little different. But I think that I don't know that the Rangers are going to be subbing anybody out for defense in the ninth inning of a one-run game in the outfield, or in the infield for that matter. I can't think of is there a better third baseman than Josh Young defensively? Maybe Cody Freeman, but not good enough to get Young out of the game. Seager's Gold Glove finalist. Josh Smith, potentially you do that, but it's not like the Rangers have a ton of seasoned veterans at second base, and then first base. I think Berger's going to be the guy throughout. Now, if Jock Peterson is starting at first base, and he's been working out there, then for sure you would get Jock out of the game late in the games. But in theory, you're going to have Jake Berger on the bench. So anyway, the minutia that will never go away and that we love to talk about as beat writers, and I hope you guys do too, because there's a lot of it. Like today, I asked Skip Schumacher, hey. Uh, if you're going to have 8 guys in the bullpen, how many of them have to go multiple innings? And he was like, yeah, that's a big deal because early on pitch counts for starters are less, and you don't want them thinking that they have to go an extra inning when they might not have it in them. So Cole Wynn's one of those guys. I think if Jake Latz is in the bullpen, Jacob Latz is one of those guys for sure. But then a guy like Cal Quantrill, does he not make the rotation, and the Rangers try to keep him on in the bullpen? Does somebody like Trey Supak, who a lot of people in this organization like, and why not after what he did last summer for Round Rock? Is he a guy? So there's just a lot of ways to look at this. You figure the one inning guys will be, Garcia and Chris Martin for sure. They don't even think about that. I know he'll probably say he can do it, but 3 outs max for that guy. Um, I think Diaz is just a 3 out guy. Not sure about Jacob Junis. Tyler Alexander for sure can do it. So it'll be interesting to see how that balance plays out. And that's what spring training's for. You get to figure these things out. Nothing's going to be decided here today. Probably not this week unless somebody suffers a bad injury. But those are things that by the end of camp, we're going to be all over as the beat writers. We're going to be talking about in this podcast a lot. And, it's fun to do. It's a fun game to play out. I don't think it's any fun for the manager right now, but it's fun for us, fun for you guys. Just kind of envisioning what this opening day roster can look like. I'll probably do a projection here pretty soon. I've been thinking about it, and that might be something I roll out Sunday or next week when I'm back in DFW. Just another quick camp update. It is a beautifully sunny day here. I mean, it is brilliantly sunny. There aren't, well, not brilliantly, because there are some clouds off in the distance, but nothing that's going to cause any rain. Gentle breeze. Flags are at half staff in honor of the Jesse Jackson, who passed away this week, but they're not stiff at all. So it's going to be a pretty good day for baseball. Everybody's going to get in their work, as they like to say. Got in my work. All right. Well, Nathan Eovaldi's first up on that work, and I do want to see what Trey Supak looks like. I talked to him today, the kid from LaGrange. He's not a kid anymore, but he's from LaGrange. Gigantic hands, and if it weren't for Brandon Nimmo, Trey Supak would be the nicest guy in camp. So anyway, something to chew on for you guys. Hey, we're going to get into a lot more stuff. We're going to get a little deeper into what happens in these games early on, and who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. Everything's okay. I think that's the big thing to mention. And as Skip said the other day, these first 9 or 10 days of camp really couldn't have gone much better for the Texas Rangers. Okay, let's talk about our friends and our advertisers. We got a new one coming up. It's pretty interesting. Air DNA. but we're going to start it off with our friends in the meat and seafood department, and then we'll hop back in right after this. Hey guys, Wild Fork Foods time. Our friends at Wild Fork Meat and Seafood Market, they need to be your butcher. You need to get all your meat there. It's that simple. Again, I'm coming home today, and I will have ample time to visit one of the 9 DFW locations. And right now, after the show, I could sign up to be a member at wildforkfoods.com, where for $29 a year, I can get free delivery either same day or the next day, no later than the next day. How crazy is that? We're talking hundreds of cuts of meat, different varieties of meat. Got your standard beef, pork, chicken, and then, like I always say, there is kangaroo. You can get a whole pig, seafood, meats from around the world. South America is a big player with Argentina and Brazil and all of their beef. So this is the place to go. Wildforkfoods.com, 9 DFW locations. Please visit them as soon as humanly possible. And hey, we have a new sponsor now, Air DNA. When I saw this, I thought it was going to be, like 23andMe or something like that. But that's not at all what it is. It is like Airbnb, okay? And it is for the World Cup. Big money to be made if you are interested in putting your home up for sale. These guys fans come from all over the world. And AirDNA will tell you how much you can make. All you do is you go to airdna.co/DLLS, you pop in your address, and you'll see how much money you could make for the tournament. We're not talking like $50. Some people are going to make 10,000, 20,000. It's game-changing money. Okay, and if you can find a way to get out of your house for a little while, go spend the night, go spend a week with your grandma or a month with your mom or whatever it is. Go on a vacation. Who knows? airdna.co/DLLS is the place you want to go. Check it out and see how much bank you can make during the World Cup. Yeah, I think a lot of people here in Surprise make a lot of money. I know that the folks I was just with, Tim and Keith, they have uh, they just turned their back of their house into an extra room, and it's fantastic. So um, if you, I'll be honest. I haven't told my wife this, but I've thought about it. It's like, geez, these people from the World Cup. You see what they're paying for tickets. I mean, room and board's chump change. So anyway, check them out, our friends at AirDNA. Okay, so I have checked out of my Airbnb because I am going home tonight. But like I said, had to get this first game in. And if you're not familiar with spring training, um, you're not prepare yourself because games a lot of times aren't what you think, aren't at all what they look like in the regular season. So guys aren't going to play much. You're gonna hear names when games are broadcast, or if you look at the box score, you're gonna see names that maybe you've never heard of, and that's fine. That's all part of the spring training experience. So today, the Rangers sent out their lineup bright and early this morning. I think Elijah, you have that. You can take a look there. All right, some regular guys, right? Evan Carter, Corey Seager, Jake Peterson, or Jock Peterson, Jake Berger, Josh Young, Josh Smith, Kyle Gasioka, all on the open day roster. All right. Alejandro Zuna, we just talked about. Hellman, we talked about a little bit, competing for jobs. Um, but these guys right now, you're not going to see any of them playing tomorrow. The Rangers go across the divide, across the valley to Mesa to play the Cubs. None of those guys will be in the lineup, and that's by design. Position players don't play back to back right now, and when they do play, we're talking two at bats, maybe three. Like if they have a 6-run inning and then score two, and there's a chance for a third at bat, they might get that, but no more. They'll be gone by the fourth inning. In most cases, the guys who haven't had their second at bat or their next at bat, they have to linger around a little bit, but. Um, it's not what you think it is. If you're coming out to see Corey Seager play shortstop for 9 innings a day, just prepare yourself and make sure you don't miss the first pitch because he might be out of there before you get your finish your first beer. On the pitching side, Nathan Eovaldi, he is starting. That's cool. He's healthy after the appendectomy in the or not the appendectomy, the sports hernia surgery in the off season. All reports are everything is fine. He's going to go out there today and give it his all for maybe 2 innings and maybe 30 pitches. That's just part of the buildup. Now, it's hard to pull Nate back. He probably feels like he could throw 75 pitches right now, but it's part of the buildup, part of the big picture, keeping these guys healthy for 162, not just 31 Cactus League games. And then ideally, you do keep him healthy into October, as he was so good in 2023, but he had that injury time off. So anyway, in theory, the paperwork, the blueprint is to not let these guys go too far. So he'll throw, let's say, 2 and 30 today. Next time, 3 and 45. It's a gradual 15 to 20 pitch buildup and 1 inning each time out until the last start when they pull back and just kind of, a tune-up, if you will, for the regular season. Um, relievers. Now, relievers, a lot of times because starters are going so short, the next reliever up may be a starting pitcher. That's not the case today with Robert Garcia and Cole Winn following Eovaldi. But Trey Supak, who's working as a starter, they'll try to get 2 innings out of him, and that's fine. Don't read too much into it. If let's say Mackenzie Gore starts and Kamar Rocker is the first guy out of the bullpen, that's okay. Kamar is still in the hunt to be the fifth starter. And based on live BPs, maybe he's got the lead now. I'm not sure, but don't worry about it. Don't read too much into it. And then there are guys who are minor league players who have been in camp as long as the big leaguers, if not before. And oftentimes you'll hear them referred to as JICs, JIC. A JIC is a just in case player. And it's guys who come over from minor league camp to fill in for the fill-ins at this point. So after the starting position players are out, then you'll still get some 40-man guys who are coming in, and some guys who have a chance at the roster and some guys you have heard of. And then once they're done, then it's pretty deep into the minor league camp. But the Rangers have a good group of guys here. Dane Acker, I mentioned earlier, he's on the list to pitch today as a guy who may have to come in and finish off an inning for Eovaldi or whatever. And so this is these guys have purpose, and this is a big deal for them. A lot of these guys are getting a look. It means the organization, you're on the org's radar. I still think Dane Acker can pitch in the major leagues, and it's somewhere in there. But there are guys at the lower levels who've been here. So you may want to have MILB.com at the ready as you're following these games. But it's a good way, like you said in the chat, Mason. Great time to learn about some of the young guys in the organization, and it really is. Cam Cauley a few years ago had a fantastic spring in A games as a backup, as a fill-in, hitting home runs and showing off some power. So, it's a chance like that for a guy like that to kind of open your eyes. And we'll ask about him. Be like, hey, this guy's been playing great. What do you know about him? All this stuff. So, anyway, that's the way these games are going to unfold. One other thing, as you watch the game, let's say Nathan Eovaldi throws 20 pitches in the first inning and only has 2 outs. The Rangers may come and get him. Okay, so Dane Acker's my example. He's going to try to finish off the inning. And then lo and behold, the second inning starts and Nathan Eovaldi's back on the mound. That is a spring training rule that was implemented a few years ago, one that makes so much sense. It makes a ton of sense as you're trying to get pitchers ready. It's not a standard baseball rule. Yeah, I know, but spring training is about the pitchers. It's about getting guys ready. And to take a guy out after 2 outs and 20 pitches doesn't make a lot of sense in the long run. So that happens, and it happens. It's not infrequently. It's not every game, but it will happen. And so just don't be shocked when a Rangers pitcher or a Royals pitcher or whoever doesn't finish an inning and then, oh my God, he's starting the next inning. What's going on here? So anyway, that's kind of the layout for the games. One thing to note that a lot of you guys, and I see Misty, I saw Leon yesterday, and had a little conversation with him. He was on the backfields. The backfield workouts continue even though games have started. The Rangers worked out today. They will work out every day on the backfields, even on game days. Okay, so it changes a little bit. Like home games, you get the full roster of guys. Road games, you'll see the guys who have to travel. For instance, they'll do their work here in most cases. Maybe when they go to Scottsdale or Mesa, they'll hit over there. But if it's a game in Goodyear or Peoria or Glendale, they'll just take BP here, hop in the car, drive over, and be ready to play. But on those road days, the guys who aren't playing, they stay back, they work out a little bit later. As a reporter, it's a good time to get those guys if you've been missing out on them in the clubhouse or whatever. But fans, you still absolutely can go to the backfields. It is free. You enter off of Bullard Avenue, right across from the Royals uh, minor league compound where they house their minor leaguers. The Rangers village is basically 100 yards away, if that. Um, Go in the back, bring your baseball cards, bring your baseballs, get autographs, and again, the access, it's so close. You can carry on a conversation with these guys, and they're generally in a very good mood this time of year. As for Surprise Stadium, seats about, I don't know how many seats it has. I think I've seen it up to 12,000 people in attendance. They have that outfield lawn, and a lot of people like to sit in the outfield lawn, soak in the rays and all that stuff. It's a little bit more affordable. Russ Wells, when the Rangers have night games, how does that affect their workouts? It just pushes it back. I would say that today's game is at 1 here. They were on the field by 10 or 10:30, so if it's a 7 o'clock start, maybe they're on the field at between 3 and 4. That's just a trying to remember. We usually get in around 1 o'clock on those days. So, and there are night games. There's a night game next Thursday, not not the upcoming Thursday, the March 5th. There's a night game, and then the last week is all night games except for the last game on that Saturday when they basically just show up and put on some semblance of a uniform and go out and play, swing at every first pitch, and get the heck on the plane and get off to the regular season. So I really like this time of year. I've said it before. It's my favorite time of the year. The people here, the Sun Dancers, who are the volunteers in Surprise, they're so nice. A bunch of retirees out there showing you where to go and selling you hot dogs and helping you park your car. And couldn't be any nicer. The weather, again, generally is very, very nice. I am in a sweatshirt today, but this weekend I think it's supposed to be 70 tomorrow, 80 on Sunday, and then I think it's supposed to be like in the 90s over the next 10 days. So might be some short weather when I come back with John Moore. So not in the mornings, too cold in the mornings. So keep that in mind too. It is chilly in the mornings. If you go to the backfield in shorts, preparing for it to warm up, you're going to be cold. All right, so bring a jacket or just wear sweats and remove them and then start soaking in the sun. First base side, Rangers dugouts on the first base side. Typically, it's in the shade from first pitch till the end of the game. The Royals side or the visiting side, you get a little more sun. If you're into tanning your bodies, as I know so many of you are. But yeah, here we go. Games get ready to start. That's what you can expect. Hit our like button. If you haven't subscribed, we're gonna just subscribe for free. We're gonna talk about some other things that we do at DLLS here in a second, and then when we come back, I'm gonna talk about the things that I've liked that I've seen so far in Rangers camp. We'll get to that after this. All right, I'm going to set my timer this time. Here we go. All right, there we go. All right, Supporters Club time, guys. Join the Supporters Club. It is our diehard um, membership for the YouTube channel. And let me tell you, yesterday I spent the day doing clips and doing a little tour of the backfields and showing you guys what it's like to be a beat writer in spring training. I shot it. Kat's going to put it together. I greatly appreciate her work for that because if I did it, I think everybody would get fired. The company might shut down. It would be that bad. So anyway, it's a very affordable. You go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com @DLLS underscore sports. You'll see a join button once you get to our homepage. Push that, and that takes you through the process of becoming a member of the supporters club. Again, access to members only videos of Rangers, Mavs, Stars, Cowboys. That's the one I forgot. And then a bunch of emojis, a bunch of sweet, sweet emojis that allow you guys like to flex. You get your badges for being in the supporters club. So let's do that today. And then merch, can't go a show without talking about merch. Store.allcitynetwork.com. I am doubled up on merch. I thought it was going to be tripled up, but I'm doubled up. And as you can see, we're having a sale. The site-wide clear out, maybe a little spring cleaning that's happening. Those are some pretty good shirts. 30% off. Texas 2 remains my favorite. But boy, we have all kinds of shirts. And as you can see, we throw in some colleges in there. How many Cooper Flag shirts are we up to? About 95 or 100, I think. I'm being facetious. But we have hats. We have all kinds of stuff that's stored at allcitynetwork.com. 30% off. That's a heck of a deal. And sweatshirts, beer mugs, coffee cups, flags, whatever you want, you can get at store.allcitynetwork.com. How am I doing on my timer? It ended. Didn't give me an alert. All right, great. Gonna work on that. Okay, my highlights. I have been watching these guys throw. I have been watching these guys take batting practice, and while we were talking in the first segment, the Rangers were on the field taking BP right before the show started. They had done an infield. It was kind of fun to see, a major league team take infield. So that was good. Anyway, it's always good. Um, to be here early on because you have a chance to meet everybody. And I'll be honest, I haven't met everybody because there are so many players here. There's almost 70 players. And then, I have to go talk to this guy. And then this guy's here, so I got to go talk to him. So sorry, Josh trying to do. I got to put you off until the next day. But I think when you kind of start and look at things, and again, my perspective is a little different because we're talking about media and how things apply to me sometimes selfishly. But my highlights of camp so far, from a player position side, any player, has been Jake Burger. I think he looks terrific. He's been destroying baseballs, and he just seems to be in a really good mood. Now, it's not like he was ever in a bad mood last year, but he's more comfortable. You can just tell he's more comfortable. Last spring, he was the new guy and wasn't quite as comfortable, probably with some of us. Now that changed as the year went along. He was fine with us, and we had a good time. But Jake Burger it just looks good. And again, I'm not a scout. I don't know what I'm looking at. The changes, they're small changes that he's made in his swing, but he seems to be very comfortable with them. His BPs are impressive. It's just the bottom line is that his batting practices are terrific. He's been hitting with another highlight, Josh Young, who again has looked really, really good. He's been hitting the ball hard. And it was interesting when we talked to him the other day about how he said he needs to be obsessed with baseball again, which I thought was a really interesting answer. It's not that he doesn't love the game; he loves it, and probably maybe more than anybody out here, to be perfectly honest with you. But something he got steered away last year a little bit. His attention got diverted away. He was more focused on the day-to-day results rather than sitting back and letting things play out. And if you are a baseball player and you're a regular, you can't worry about everything day to day. You can't worry about an 0 for 4. You can't worry about an 0 for 5. You can't worry about an 0 for 15. you're going to be in the lineup the next day, and things are going to average out. You're going to, if you continue to stick to your process. This is something I know I don't want to sound like Jason Garrett, but it has caught on. Skip Schumacher, he wants these guys to stick with it. He needs them to understand that, this offseason they worked on so many different things. Don't let a couple spring games change that. And then when you get to the regular season, the pitching is going to be different. It's going to be dialed in. It's the same thing though. Don't let two or three bad games, make you panic. Trust the work you did. Trust the work you've done with the coaches. Trust what the coaches are seeing, and that's kind of the message. And what Josh Young was saying when he was talking about getting obsessed with baseball again. Also, he's the player, the union rep, so he's had a little bit to deal with this week. On the pitching side, you get to watch five or six guys throw at one time, and it can be a little overwhelming. You're not sure which ball's headed to which catcher, but I've really enjoyed talking to and listening to Jacob deGrom talk about his work. He's only thrown once in our vision out on the backfield. He threw a bullpen session and didn't really care for it, from what I could tell. At times, he's a terrible critic of himself, but he's thrown in the lab. He wants to get his mechanics to where they're perfect, and that's always been Jacob deGrom. And when the mechanics are right, when he's not flying open, the fastball's better. It has more velocity. It's going where he wants it to go, and he is completely and totally ready to take as much time as it needs this spring to get things right. He probably won't pitch in a game for a while. It may be a week or more. Uh, Same thing with Wyatt Langford. He's not going to play a game this weekend. He's probably not going to debut till early next week. Brandon Nimmo, he doesn't start playing in spring games until March. It's just things that they want to work on. They know their bodies. They know what they have to do to be successful, and they found something that works. Langford unfortunately discovered it by accident because he was hurt early on in camp last year. But what he learned is that working a little bit slower pace on his swing actually was beneficial. So they're giving it a go again. Apparently, Nimmo's done this for 3 or 4 years. He finally found the combination that works. Whatever it takes to get ready. He was out. He was out today doing infield drills. He hit on the field. Okay, so it's not like he's sleeping in until noon and then just coming up whenever he pleases. He's been here. He's doing the drills. He will continue to do that, but he does it at his own pace. And I think, hey, whatever it takes to keep these guys healthy and to keep them productive. Evan Carter, I've mentioned this. He looks bigger. I was talking to Skip about it on the show Wednesday. Evan Carter looks bigger. He will be facing left-handed starters. It's harder early though because um, you don't play every day as a position player early on, so he may miss a left-handed starter. But the Rangers were intentional in making sure that whatever live BP groups he was in, that there was a lefty or two throwing to him. So he's going to get his looks. And as Skip said at the winter meetings, and we've talked about it, this big catch-22. You can't get better against left-handers if you aren't facing them. So he's going to get a shot at that. Um, another highlight, and I wrote about it the other day, is the young arms, and I only wrote about five of them. I feel bad because Eric Loomis was mentioned. Eric Loomis, he was the Rangers reliever of the year last year in the minor leagues, and he apparently popped off an impressive bullpen or two that guys looked at. But Gavin Collier, who's going to pitch today, looking forward to seeing that. And I think Skip Schumacher is too, because while it just is different in a game. You can throw bullpens and lives, and nobody's watching you, and it's fantastic, and you're dominating and striking out, great players, all stars, whatever, on the backfields. When you get into a game, it's a different story. Now, Gavin, when he pitches, Bobby Witt Jr. is probably going to be out playing golf or eating dinner or whatever. Whatever. He's not even going to be in the ballpark when Gavin Collier gets into the game today. But still, I think the tenet, the basics there is Gavin. Is Josh trying to do? Is Carter Baumler? Is Robbie Alstrom? are they on the attack no matter who they're facing? Are they on the mound determined to get outs and to shove against a AAA player, a high A player? How do they go about their business? Again, the process. You know, everybody knows Gavin Collier can throw it through a brick wall, but he needs to throw strikes, and he's done that in the lives and in the bullpens. But now it needs to translate into games. And relievers are going to throw a lot. Okay, now the good guys who are on the team are going to throw a lot. Gavin, who does have a chance at this roster, I think it's an outside chance, but I still think he has a chance. You can see him hang around after the first few cuts, still be in camp. I think that'll be the case with a couple guys like Alstrom, potentially Supak too. Um, Baumler, of course, who's already got the 40-man spot right now, so he'll be on through the end of camp. How are these guys doing? Are they attacking? Are they doing the right things to get results? And so I think that's something to keep in mind about everybody. Are the hitters lining out to second base, or are they getting little, 5-hop rollers into center field? Which one would the team rather have? Well, a lot of times it's the line drive out. So, a couple of things, I guess, related to that second segment to keep looking out for. And then, more highlights. Dealing with Skip has been pleasant so far. He's been on time. He gives very good, insightful answers. Um, he doesn't seem fed up with us yet, so that's good. Of course, he came on the podcast, which is awesome. But to watch him work on the backfields, he's involved. He's hitting ground balls to guys. He spent that first round of batting practice moving around the infield to various spots and hitting ground balls that Jock Peterson could scoop at first base. Jock needs to clean things up if he's going to play over there, and that's one way to do it. And Skip was out there dodging baseballs and all this stuff, making sure that Peterson was getting his work in. So it's been good to see that. And the thing about coaches, other than the manager, we don't see them. We don't see them in the clubhouse at all. It may be they may be going from point A to point B, but they don't have time to stop. They are busy all the time. And this is mostly new staff. I mean, we talked about Travis Jankowski. He's never done this before. He's working his tail off. And Rod Barajas was in there today. First time I'd seen him in the clubhouse in a long time. Uh, you know, you just don't see these guys. The hitting coaches in the clubhouse, forget it. They're in the cage all the time. So they're even harder to track down. But it's been good to see how the coaching staff has been working. And again, these guys have been healthy. I think that's the absolute highlight of it all. Sebastian Walcott sucks. That's terrible. I didn't expect Kyoto to make the opening day roster anyway. I think Church still has an outside shot at it. But Josh Spores is healthy. I talked to him, and look, I don't know what's been reported out there. Um, but as the further we get away from his surgery, which was after the 2024 season, the more we're finding out about how invasive it was. It was something else. He had a lot of procedures done. He had a bursa sac removed. He had a ligament shaved down. He there were some repairs to the labrum. I mean, to expect him to come back from 9 months after, in 9 months after the surgery was way too optimistic. There were times he said last year he couldn't lift his arm the day after he threw. Well, guess what? He can throw on back-to-back days now. He knows the velocity is coming. The Rangers will need to see it. But Josh Spore's goal is to make the opening day roster. And if he does, I think all of us will be happy because he's a good guy. And if he's healthy, he's good. When he's healthy, he's very, very good. So that's been another highlight. Just seeing him, seeing how much he can perform. Jordan Montgomery, great mood. Another highlight. Just so many highlights. I mean, the ultimate bummer was Walcott, but that's been the only one. So far, so good from the Rangers. Everybody knock on some wood. You never know what happens with a little adrenaline in these games, even though it's not a major league ballpark. There's adrenaline when a guy in another uniform is throwing baseballs at you or is trying to hit the baseballs you're throwing. So We'll see what happens here in the next week, but so far so good. Also, so far so good. I think the show's going all right. All right. And no guests makes it a little harder on me. We got one more ad break to talk about some stuff, and then after that, we will back clean up, and I will go through the chat and try to answer all your questions. I've been neglecting them here the last couple minutes because I had some bullet points up on my screen. So let's talk Die Hard, and then let's talk batting cleanup. Okay, Die Hard memberships, 79.99 a year. That's 650 a month. Scan the QR code. Go to alldls.com/intro. Let me make sure that page is still up while we're here. Alldls.com/intro. And what do I get? Yep, become a diehard and get a free hat, $59 for 1 year, or become a diehard and get a free T-shirt, 36 for 1 year. I was informed by a diehard who has been out back. She said that it's not entirely free because you have to pay for shipping. Well, guess what? It's like $5, $6, $7, something like that. Do it. What a deal. Where can you get a quality item like that for $8? It's going to be hard to do. Okay, so Die Hard, you get access to all of our stories. That's the key. All of our stories. Not just the ones that we put out for free, which there are very little across our four beats. Cowboys, Mavs, Stars, Texas Rangers. Um, so you get to see everything we're writing, the stuff that's behind the paywall. I posted a story just before the game, just before the show went on the air. It was basically our second segment. I'd still advise you to go read it because as I'm sitting here thinking there's some things I forgot that were probably worth mentioning. I will still be writing even though I won't be here. See this, my phone? It has now become my recording device. There are a lot of stories on there that I haven't gotten to that and that's by design. I gotta pace myself here because I'm gonna have some stuff to write next week. So anyway, become a diehard. You know you want to do it if you haven't done it already. I gave you the super secret non website where you can go to and where you don't have to pay the full price. So let's do it. Baseball season is here, and the Mavs. I saw that Kyrie Irving stuff. The Olympics are almost over, so the Stars are going to be firing up. Cowboys, the draft, they've always got something going on. So, so become a diehard today. All right, let's bat some cleanup real fast. All right. Oh, and don't forget about the shirt sale. All right. Store at allcitynetwork.com, 30% off. Go and buy you a shirt. Well, it's all of the stuff. Just go buy all the stuff for 30% off. Okay, batting cleanup. We always try to start with our old friends. And Mitch Garver, old friend Mitch Garver, has signed a minor league deal to return to the Mariners. It sounds like Cal Raleigh might have orchestrated this thing because apparently he called Mitch, let's say yesterday, and said, "Hey, you should call the Mariners." And voila, Mitch is in camp today. He hasn't, he did not have two good offensive seasons with the Mariners. There's no denying that. He still has some thump in his bat. Not always the best catcher ever, but a good dude. People like to be around him, and we're always happy when old friends like that get back to work. A lot of other, maybe not a lot, but some other catchers have signed on, including Elias Diaz with the Royals. Remember, he was the All-Star Game MVP in 2023, right? He hit that home run, I think in the eighth inning. He was with the Rockies at the time, and ended up putting the National League team ahead, and they won the game. He did not have a great season last year. He bounced around, I think, three different teams, but mostly the Padres. And then Gary Sanchez, the you know not a great defensive player at all. Still can hit some home runs. He was at the Brewers last year. He signed a couple days ago with the Brewers. Speaking of the Brewers, Pat Murphy getting a contract extension. Their manager, who's been so good since joining them, is very well deserved. 3 years, 8.95 million. I hope the Brewers make some good use of that extra 50,000 they're not giving him. Um, didn't see anything about any pocket pancake bonuses or clauses, but this Pat Murphy seems like a pretty good dude. And we talked about the Orioles just a minute ago with Gary Sanchez. Well, they have some problems in their infield. Jordan Westberg, their third baseman, he has a torn UCL. He is not having Tommy John right now or the brace surgery. He's getting what is called a PRP injection, and that is platelet-rich plasma injection into his elbow. He's going to miss all of April at least. And they already have Jackson Holiday hurt because he broke his hamate bone. I think before the first official club full squad workout for them. He's going to open the season on the IL. So they're kind of in scramble mode in Baltimore. Kobe Mayo, who's been a prospect forever, he's probably going to get a nod at third. Blaze Alexander, who was with the Diamondbacks, kind of one of those sneaky trades. He's probably going to help them out here while they wait on whatever happens with Westberg and whenever Holiday can return. But I think ultimately Westberg's going to have the surgery, right? It just seems like all these guys end up having the surgery. There is a union update. Wednesday, they selected unanimously, the players did, Bruce Meyer as their interim chief executive guy. He's also their lead negotiator. So he just got a bump up for Tony Clark, who, um, now that he's not leading the union, probably will need a lawyer for divorce proceedings. And so good luck with that, Tony. Nothing's changed on the negotiation front or what the players want. They still are a hard no on a salary cap and a hard yes in arbitration. I still think, as Jeff Passan wrote last week, got to find the middle ground. Cannot miss games. That absolutely positively has to be the number one objective. No missed games next season. They're going to get locked out. The owners, we've read, have like are completely unified on this salary cap thing. I don't know if I buy that or not. I also think that players, because of the disparity in salaries, the guys who are making a ton of money are great, but it's those other guys who haven't made the life-changing money yet or the generational money who may not want to miss any games. Okay, so I think that several voices in the union need to be heard. Okay, that's just me. All right, let's go. I'm going to go to the start of the chat. Kelly, man, I am sticking around for the game. Yeah, no radio broadcast for anything on this game, correct? Unless you want to. The Royals are doing a radio broadcast. Any chance of taking a flyer on Andrew McCutchen? I don't think so. You know, at this point, I guess he could still play the outfield, but how well could he do that? And how badly do the Rangers need a right-handed bat? And is his good enough? I would say no. Um, yes, it was awesome to have on the podcast, Rarities. I agree. Kelly Man with Westberg, yeah, just talked about that. Ryan Wyatt, 30-30 season incoming. Hey, Skip Schumacher is heading to be an MVP. Travis Jankowski has said 30-30. So it's definitely possible. This guy is so talented, but got to keep him on the field. He's got to keep those obliques and lats. Got to stay off the lat machine. Make sure that he is healthy for the whole season. Um, Ryan, we have disparaging views on Duran. All right, or not disparaging, but different views. One of them disparaging. Um, Okay. Do. Sell the lineup for the day. Three lefties. Yes. Yes. BC. All right. Go Dodgers. Got you in here. Always good to see you, BC. Kind of an OG guy, I think. Gallagher champ in reference to the young guys who are going to be playing so much of these games. Way to go, whatever your name is. That's true. That's true. And like Mason said, it is a good time to learn about the organization. Misty, little rascals in the lineup today. Yes, there are. So let's go on down. Is Luis Carvello, Benny asks, the most forgotten reliever on the roster this spring? Um, I was thinking about that just today. We haven't had a chance. We haven't. I haven't. I don't know about anybody else. I haven't talked to Luis yet. Now it does take an interpreter, which adds another step. But that's not why I haven't talked to him. But he hasn't been mentioned, which is interesting. Neither is Jose Corniel, which I thought was a little interesting. And hearing Skip talk about young guys, I figured those two guys might be there. But Carvello can go multiple innings. He has a big fastball, good stuff. He did fine last year, I thought. I think he does have he probably has a chance. He'll be in the big leagues this year. We'll just whether it's on March 26th or May 12th. I don't know. Benny also Cam Cully play along with some other very young prospects against TCU a few years ago. Um, Walked out of the stadium behind his mom. I was at that game. I remember that. I wish the Rangers still did the college tour, but they've just kind of really shaken up how they do instructs. They don't they don't play a lot of games anymore. They actually try to instruct, so it's not what it used to be back in the good old days of I don't know 2021 or 22, whenever that was, 23 maybe. Um, anyway, Russ Wells thinks I'm coming the last week when it's all night games. Yeah, yeah, sleep in, have lunch, do something fun if the kids are coming into town or coming with you. Get to the ballpark around probably 3. You can check with me. You can tweet me or something, send me an email, and I'll try to figure that out. Um, but yeah, I think if you're here at 3 o'clock, you will see plenty of stuff on the back fields. Well, we got 4 more minutes to go. Okay, hang on here. Do, 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 do. I hope Duran can show up and actually prove himself, but honestly, based on the last 2 years, don't even want him on the bench to start the season unless he has a great showing. I think that Duran, he has to have at bats. Obviously, he's shown that and that's everybody though. Everybody is better with regular bats. I think when you look at the bench candidates, he's like the most senior of them. Hellman hasn't had a lot of big league time. Cody Freeman hasn't had a lot of big league time. Sam Haggerty has, okay, but I think Duran has a chance to because he can be a serviceable shortstop. He can play the corners and has a very, very outfield corners has a very, very good arm. He can play the infield corners. He can play second base. Skip Schumacher the other day said that Duran is still in the competition for second base. I know that everybody's penciled in Josh Smith, including Corey Seager. But Josh, do they want to make that a platoon? Or do they want to have a right-handed hitter on hand? If Ezekiel Duran's the best one, he's gonna get the job. I think that Freeman, uh, they like the at bats. Obviously, he can play third. He still has that catcher thing. There's always that catcher thing we all like to glom onto. Um, but Duran's a better outfielder right now than Freeman. So if it comes down to that, Duran's going to make the team. He had a great winter. Okay, he had a great winter in the Dominican, and you know, at some point these guys figure out how to be pinch hitters and how to be part-time players. And the Rangers haven't brought in a bunch of veteran infielders. You always like to have a veteran who can sit for a week without playing a game and then get put in a game and get 2 hits. The Rangers don't have that. I do think, though, that they're going to utilize their platoon players a lot. Um, and so that's one way for these guys to stay healthy. Get in at bat or two a week, and when you're not playing a game, it helps. Every little bit helps. So I think Duran is going to be on the team. I just do. Um, all about Sports Zone. Darn it, I'm late. I've been busy over the last couple of weeks. Come on, what's going on, Sports Zone? We need you. We need you, baby. Um, we're glad you're here though, late or right on time. ABS challenge in effect today. That is a question. Thank you, Kelly. Man, clean up your punctuation, please. But yes, the ABS is in full effect. And we were talking today in the clubhouse, a couple of us writers. Who do we think the first one to challenge will be? I think I think it's going to be Kyle Higashioka. I think the catcher will be the person who is making the most challenges for the Rangers this year. So my answer is Kyle Higashioka. I think catcher. I think a lot of pitchers don't even want it. Don't even want it. I know somebody pointed out Chris Sale saying that. I heard Cole Winn say that today. They don't want to. They have to take the emotion out of it and let the guy with the better view and the calmer head prevail. So I think that Kyle Higashioka, Sports Zone, since you were late, do I think Santos makes the team? No, I don't. He's been impressive. I wrote it. He was one of the guys I wrote about. I think it was yesterday. Um, I think he needs some more time in the majors or in the minors rather. I think the Rangers need to preserve their starting depth, and right now he's part of that. They have some NRIs who are in camp. Cal Quantrill and Gomber. Are they going to stay around if they don't make the team? If not, you're losing two pieces of depth. Okay, so I think that for now he stays a starter. I think him and Santos, I'm sorry, Santos and Cornell are going to be the guys if Quantrill, if Gomber aren't around. Do we have anything else? Oh, yeah, Mason gave me the answer. Okay, thanks, pal. Will I be filming some of the plays of the game today? It's a pretty good idea, Rarities. Yeah, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Jeff Wilson TXR. There you go. Thank you, Elijah. Mark that down because, yeah, my seat in the press box is right behind the plate, second level. But yeah, I will try to get some, Corey's first at bat, which probably will last one pitch. But we'll try to do that and tweet those out because again, as long as it's not a live broadcast, we can do that in spring training. One more from, hey, is that you, Tyler? What are your thoughts on Foskey getting time in the outfield? I think it's great that they're going to try it. I think it's going to be a little bumpy to start. So I'm working out at first base. I think if he's going to make this team, and he's still in there. If he matches left-handed pitchers, which he does in the minor leagues, the Rangers will take a very, very serious look at him. He has been hard to find, hard to track down. I've been really wanting to talk to the guy, but he's here and he's working. And hey, as long as he's on the 40 man, he's got a shot. All right, guys, we're a minute over. I don't want to do the overtime thing, so we're going to get out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game today, however you access it. We'll be back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week at our usual time at 1 o'clock. That's the DLS Rangers podcast. So long from Arizona for now.
We all silly like the mayor.